I read 21 books in the year of 2025. Let's talk about them. To begin with, I started with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. This is actually the ultimate guide to the Hitchhikers to the Galaxy. It contains 4 to 5 books in the series. I read the first one and it was really funny and very interesting book. It begins with Earth being destroyed to make a highway which passes through the Earth. So that is the scale you are dealing with in the book. You meet new characters, new friends, new aliens. You follow Arthur Dent and his adventure through the universe. So if you like funny books, then you should start with this. It is around 250 or odd pages. I really like this one. Next up is The How to Kill Your Family by Bella Maki, and this is the book. You should not get shocked by the cover. I mean, it is really satirical and sharp, funny and dark book at the same time. In this book, we follow Grace Bernard, who was born into a wealthy family but denied it. Her mother and she lived very poorly, and then after growing up, she takes revenge on her father's family, killing each one of the family members one by one. She kills her uncle, her father, her stepmom, even the dog, and it gets crazy at the end. And the ending will definitely shock you because you will never guess the ending. So, yeah, this was the second book I read. Next is The Darkest Goodbye by Alex Gray. It is again a murder mystery, I guess. Yeah. The book is set in Scotland and we follow nursing homes where people are getting killed suspiciously. So you follow a young police officer who has just joined the police force and she goes through the investigation. You get involved in the investigation, and I mean, it is not a great book and it is not a bad one also. So yeah, it is a good read. And after that murder mystery, we have another murder mystery book, that is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I actually don't have the physical copy right now with me, but the story follows 4 young retired people living peacefully in a retirement village around England. But it takes, and funny thing is that on every Thursday they meet and they solve murders who were not solved earlier by the police force. So the crazy things happen when a murder happens in front of them in the nursing home itself. So you unravel the mysteries and get part with the 4 old people. It is really funny and engaging at the same time. I really like this one, but don't watch the movie. They made a Netflix special on it, but it is absurd. They have completely changed the ending. So you should read the book. It's actually very fast, around 300 pages, and it reads very quickly. Yeah. So after those murder mystery books, I moved into fantasy. That is, I started The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This was my entry into the Cosmere, and I really enjoyed this fantasy. It's actually two, part one and part two, both combined gets around 1100 pages or so. We follow 4 main characters: Kaladin, Shallan, and other 2, Adeline and some other. And I really enjoyed this book. I will make a video on the Cosmere, on the Stormlight Archive. Stay tuned for that. Yeah. Next, I read The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, and I really didn't get this book. It is about a beautiful man who transfers his soul to a picture. The picture gets old, dark, but he remains fresh as the beginning. This is one of the classics people talk about much, but I don't think so. I will be reading many classics in future. I have only one book to read, that is The Count of Monte Cristo. I don't know, let's see, but I really did not like this one. Next up, I moved into mythology, Indian mythology, that is The Palace of Illusion by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, yeah. And I kind of like this book, and I know this is not a perfect depiction of Mahabharata, but we follow Draupadi and how the events of Mahabharata unfolds through her perspective. It is it is a fast read. It is a really interesting book from perspective of the people who don't know much about Mahabharata. So yeah, if you want to get into mythology, you should pick these books and get into details later. So yeah, I really liked this one. Next, I finally picked up Stephen King. I actually read Lizzie's Story half and left it. I didn't get that book, but I read The Pet Cemetery, and that was a really enjoying book. It is kind of horror, but not horror, more of a psychological thriller, literary masterpiece they call it, and it is a really good book. You should actually start horror books or Stephen King's books from that. I don't know much of the context. I forgot. It has been a long time. So yeah, you should pick that one if you want to start with Stephen King. Next, we go again to the Thursday Murder Club with The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman, obviously. And this one also was really funny and witty. And actually, I don't think I'll be reading many other Thursday Murder Club. Actually, I think there are two or three books. This book follows murder of Elizabeth's ex-husband, I think. Yeah, Elizabeth's ex-husband who had died earlier, but he comes back. There is murder mystery. There are diamonds involved. There are big kingpins involved. Yeah, so it was really fun book. Let's see. And this one actually broke the hell out of me. This is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. And if you are in a good place in life, then only you should pick this up. If you are in a sad or bad place, please don't pick this up. The ending will, not the ending, the whole book will torture you. This is also a quick read. If you are an emotional reader, then yeah, you should pick this one. This book follows two girls separated by a generation, how their life and war in Afghanistan entangles each other. There are many heartbreaks in this book, so please brace yourselves and start reading. Next up is a different book from the rest, that is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. You think it's a murder mystery again of a dog dying? No, it's not. You follow Christopher, a 15-year-old boy who is not normal. You follow Christopher, a 15-year-old boy who is a bit special than the other. You get into his mind, how he sees things, how he navigate everything. It is actually emotional drama, I guess, and the ending is good. The whole book is good, so you can try if you want to experiment with your reading styles. So yeah, that is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Next up is Midnight Library by Matt Haig. In this book, we follow Nora Seed, who is frustrated with her life choices and life, and she eventually commits suicide, and then she wakes up in a library around midtime. That's why Midnight Library, where every book is her life, where she could have made some decisions other than the main life of her. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, but it's a good read. You can actually finish this also in very quick succession of time, and the ending is really beautiful, happy ending, and that's, I think, Matt Haig's style of writing. So yeah, give it a go if you are in a bad place. This book can really help you understand life. Next up is The Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This is actually second book in the Stormlight Archive. Yeah, right after The Way of Kings. I gave some break to the fantasy reading, and I picked this book. This is a 1200 pager and a slow book at the beginning. It follows the events right after the first book, that is The Way of Kings. And the characters which we followed in the first book were scattered around. So in this book, they all come together in the same place. So that was pretty interesting, and the fighting sequence written in this book are top notch, the best ones I have ever read. And also the ending, yeah, Brandon Sanderson is specialty is he writes the ending very beautifully, and this book didn't disappoint that as well. So yeah, if you are thinking of picking A Way of Kings, please keep in mind this is the best book you will ever read on fantasy, according to me. So yeah, that was The Words of Radiance. Next up is The Age of Kali by William Dalrymple. This book follows William Dalrymple when he travels through the Indian subcontinent, from Pakistan, Lahore, where he meets Imran Khan, to India, where he meets some greatest figure of the 90s in India. Especially he follows the Bihar in the Gunda Raj. This is quite interesting book. You should read this if you like to travel or follow travelers a lot in the videos, but this is actually written form, and it is really nice book, one of William Dalrymple's best. Next up is The Rosie Project by Graham Smithson. This is on level par with the Curious Case of a Dog in the Nighttime. Here we follow a genetics professor who has Asperger's syndrome. Next up, we jump back again to Stephen King with The Shining. I have actually made a reading vlog of The Shining. If you like, you can watch that also. I really like this book, but not really how the internet has told about this book. I didn't like that on that level, but it's a good read. It's actually a psychological thriller more than a horror book. So yeah, Shining, Stephen King. And next is my favorite book of the year, I guess, after Words of Radiance, or equal with the Words of Radiance, The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu. Here, this is not a sci-fi where we have a chosen one, where we fight in the universe like Star Wars or Star Trek. This is actually a mind-bending book where you question everything we know of science. Here we follow multiple characters. I am not going to get into it. I will make a separate video of Three Body Problem, The Dark Forest, and The Death's End. That's the 3-book series. So yeah, this is the one of the best book I read this year. And then I picked again a massive book. It is of 800 pages or so, and this is also a high fantasy. This is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is a standalone majestic fantasy. There is actually a book which is a precursor to this, but I am not going to get into this right now. This is very unique book because it follows a queendom, not a kingdom, queendom, a secret mage who is also bodyguard to the queen. We follow an enemy who is sleeping for around 1000 years. He is about to wake up. There are mysteries around. It is a bit confusing. The world building is massive. I think 500 to 600 pages are just world building, but it's a slow burn, but still you can get the gist at the end. It is good. It is kind of Game of Thrones met the Chronicles of Narnia kind of fantasy. So yeah, this is good one. After high fantasy, I again dwelled into the Dark Forest. This is continuation from the Three Body Problem. This takes around 200 years after the first book, I guess. It actually bit confusing for most of the part for me. I didn't get most of the science stuff that was going around, but it was still a very good ending. And the moment they introduce the Dark Forest theory in the book, this book becomes really neat at the end. After Dark Forest, I again dwelled into William Dalrymple's in Xanadu. This is one of his beginning works, and you can feel that in the writing because I have read most of his books, which are latest releases, and this is I didn't much like it. There, in this book, he follows the trail followed by Marco Polo from Jerusalem to the Mongolian Empire, I think. Yeah, he travels through very harsh conditions, really isolated places on earth. He shares his experience with us in this book, and it is a good book, but not to the level of William Dalrymple that I know of. So yeah. And in the end, I read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is actually really quick read. If you can see the spacing and the dialogues between the characters, it's a really quick read. You can pick this up if you like science stuff. This is very confusing, very mind-bending book. Again, like the Three Body Problem, but this is actually, I have no words to describe it properly. I just finished this, but still, if you want a quick read, mystery, science, everything combined, you can pick this up to you. So those were the 21 books I read in 2025. I have set a goal of 26 books in 2026. Let's see where I get, and we'll see you next year with this kind of video. Subscribe if you like the video. Comment down any book, any reviews you have in the comment section. Share it with your friends, reader friends, maybe. Thank you.